No music today, no nothing. Shit ain't no fucking joke. I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody right now. If you got kids around you, matter of fact, turn me up a little bit.
Which one are you?
I don't know. Just turn everything up.
All right,
If
go.
you got kids around you, if you just don't want to hear profanity or nothing like that, whatever, that's straight. That's straight for me. Um, Go ahead and turn the podcast off right now. I'm gonna do my best, but um,
Y'all can stay around for me.
subscribe to the YouTube. If you're here on YouTube, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share with a friend. Follow on Instagram and TikTok at For Panthers Fans Only. Threads at For Panthers Fans Only. X at CARFPFO. I can go ahead and tell y'all right now that I'm not in a good mood at all. So Terrence might be doing a little bit of carrying. I'm not in a good mood for numerous reasons. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not in a good mood because I still haven't gotten a notification about Brian Burns signing a new deal. I'm not in a good mood because despite our offensive line giving our starting quarterback the fourth most time in the NFL statistically, based on PFF and advanced stats, we still didn't throw a pass further than 12 air yards. What else am I not in a good mood from? I'm not in a good mood because Jaycee Horn wanted to do all of this fucking talking and have an attitude the whole summer because the media does their job by asking him questions about injuries that he's had for the first, 2 years of his career. And then he acts like he want to have an attitude, doesn't want to answer. I'm not in a good mood because he has an attitude, but then the first game of the fucking season, his body can't hold up. So it's a lot of reasons why I'm not in a good mood. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers lose 24-10. I'm not in a good mood because, everybody wanted to gas Bryce up and do this and do that. We make the same mistake twice in the same game. And cool. Your head coach, takes the blame off of you Monday in his presser by saying there was a lack of communication and we were backed up and the delay of game was because of him. That's fine. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because he didn't throw the football for you. And the reason why you threw an interception was from a mechanical standpoint. So, yeah, he can shoot that shit to the media, to them niggas, not to me. Because I watch film, I already done seen all of the shit. I already know what time it is. So I'm not in a good mood at all. So like I said, I'm going to try my best really to keep my profanity to a minimum and try and realize and just make sure that I remember that it's only week one because I seen a lot of fucking bullshit the other day. And I had to see it 2 more times when I rewatched the game and then watched the fucking all 22. So I'm not in a good mood. What would you like to say?
Yeah. As you know, if you keep up with us, if you keep up with the Panthers, then we lost Sunday to Atlanta, 24-10. Me and JJ were at the game. Overall, it was a good experience. Atlanta has a nice stadium. Their prices that you see on the internet is capped out, but that's neither here or there. But overall, we didn't look good. There are some things that we can take away from the game that were good. I just feel like it was a lot of times during the game where we shot ourselves in the foot. And then, when you lose a turnover battle, then more than likely you're going to lose the game because it's just hard to overcome stuff like that. So that's kind of what happened. We'll dive into it. It's a lot of stuff that has to be better going into week 2. specifically the quarterback play has to be better. Just to name a few things, the wide receivers have to be a lot better. The defense, I mean, we have to get in some kind of tackling drills or something. That has to be better. The coaches have to be better. And, I mean, just overall, it's just, like I said, there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds that caused us to lose a very winnable game. As if you kept up with the game, we were in the game damn near the whole time until towards the end.
Until what? Go ahead and say it. We're not going to pull punches. We were in the game until Miles Sanders fumbled the fucking football when we were driving.
Yeah.
After we got bailed out already, because we shouldn't even have been in that position, because offense really should have been off the field. But then the referees bailed you out on a route that Terrace Marshall Jr. just slipped on. So we shouldn't even have been in the position in the first place. But we were in the game until Miles Sanders fumbled the fucking football. We just gonna call a spade a spade. So
I mean, we can do that by going into it. Like I said, we were in the game damn near the whole game until the end of the game, and then eventually ended up losing 24-10. But as far as like overall summary of the game, that's kind of what happened. I mean, we can dive into specifics and things like that. But as far as my overall perspective on the game, that's it. And like I said, we can dive into a little more. So that's kind of what I took away.
Individually, Bryce Young, 20 or 38, 146, touchdown and two interceptions. Miles Sanders, 18 carries for 72 yards. Chuba Hubbard, 9 carries for 60 yards. Hell of a game from him. Hayden Hurst was the leading receiver with 5 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I can't even give the other receivers that's a part of that unit the time of day by telling y'all their stats. Because the whole game, me and Terrence, I mean, we had a great view of the whole field, and me and this nigga, we just looking at each other like, oh, they can't win routes for real, for real. Like, this ain't no joke. Like, this ain't, you know what I'm saying? And everybody want to do all this talking about DJ Chark coming back and all. Matter of fact, let me just go through the fucking stat sheet.
And just to hit on that before you go any further, a lot of that coverage was man coverage with single high safety. And so it wasn't like that we were getting zoned to death and just getting, and the Falcons were playing great zone defense and just couldn't get open from that. But it was a lot of routes that I was calling out while just sitting there. And it's like, okay, this is man coverage, this is man coverage. Now we get the opportunity to see if the receivers can win routes. And, I mean, I told JJ yesterday, I realistically might have seen receivers win about 3 routes and not a piece. 3 routes in totality. And so that was kind of the story of the game, honestly. And, I mean, like I said, it cost us. So that stat where we had the second worst receiving core in the league, I know we hit on that a few weeks ago. I mean, I'm ready for them to say we had the worst based off of what I seen.
Yeah. And
like you said, I just don't think that DJ Chark coming back like helps that or makes that look any better because, I mean, he can't stay healthy. So it's just a matter of time before that room just starts falling apart outside of even just a performance standpoint, but injuries as well. And I'm just seeing from last game, we damn near have to have everybody healthy. Everything has to be perfect. But overall, wrapping that up, I would like to see us go after another receiver.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice but to go after another receiver. Because to be honest, I don't see a world in which you go a full season with this room orchestrated the way it is. I don't.
The names look cute on paper, too.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very cute on paper.
But from a production standpoint and from what I seen Sunday, I mean, I don't even want to see us roll that receiving group out next game. But we all know realistically that's going to happen. But I think there has to be some changes made.
And all of this comes without Jeff Okudah on the field, by the way. This is coming from AJ Terrell, who had a shit season last year, and a motherfucker that I don't even know his name.
His last name was like Fowler or something like that. I don't even know, but I could just tell that he's not that good.
He's not good at all. Derrick Brown, 9 tackles, a sack, dominant performance from him in the middle. Frankie Louvu, 7 tackles. Jeremy Chin on very, very limited reps with 7 tackles. We'll dive into that a little bit as well because I was kind of surprised with that. And then, of course, Brian Burns absolutely dominated the first half, 7 tackles, sack and a half, a TFL, as well as a forced fumble. For Atlanta, I mean, and this is what just is puzzling to me. 15 of 18 for Desmond Ridder, 115 yards and a touchdown. Algier, I mean, looked like the second coming of Jesus Christ himself when he came in on second drive. I mean, I don't know what was going on defensively in our head, but we weren't ready to stretch shit. So cool. He comes in, averages 5 yards a carry, 15 touches for 75 yards for him, 2 touchdowns. Of course, the rookie Bijan Robinson, 10 touches, 56 yards. He had a touchdown on a reception, made Frankie look fucking pathetic. Receiving-wise, Kyle Pitts, 2 catches for 44 yards. All of them yards came off of one play, and he wanted chat.
Questionable PI.
Yeah, I mean, very, very questionable PI. And somehow the PI gets called on us. But, whatever. That's neither here nor there. Defensively, Jesse Bates put on a show. 10 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. What really is a bit confusing, I guess you could say. Not really confusing. It's not really confusing because I know the reason why we lost the game. But what's frustrating, and I think why, the past 48 hours I haven't been feeling good about the shit is, for one, it was a divisional game, obviously. But for 2, when you look at the team stats, time of possession, 34 minutes and 41 seconds to 25 minutes and 19 seconds. Advantage Carolina. Total yards, 281 yards to 221 yards. Advantage Carolina. Passing yards, 127, 91. Advantage Carolina. Rushing yards, 154, 130. Advantage Carolina. First downs, 20 to 13. Advantage Carolina. But then this is where shit goes awry. Penalties, 9 to 6. Advantage Carolina. And turnovers, 3-0. Advantage Carolina. Did only give up 2 sacks against to 4. So we got the advantage there as well. And we ran 72 total plays on offense compared to their 48. So that's really, in part, why I don't have a good attitude. Because if you watch the game, if you were tuned in, if you watch film, there really is no reason why you don't win this football game in dominant fashion. We're just being honest. Of course, you have the 2 picks from Bryce Young, but like you mentioned on Sunday, even with those 2 interceptions, you're still in the football game.
Yeah, very winnable game at that point still.
And then the reason why you're taken out is because you have one of the more veteran guys on the team, even with him only being in year 3, year 4, whatever it may be. He gives up the football after all the shit that I seen us do all summer. But I felt like every 2 days, training camp and OTAs and everything, every 2 days, I'm seeing a drill where they fucking protecting the football. So why we're giving the football up on a play where he ain't get stretched, they won't go for the football, nothing special. He just give the bitch up.
You know what I think can speak to that too? And this is something that you hit on mainly throughout the offseason. I don't think he had enough live reps because he was never on the field in training camp.
And that's why, like I said last week, why I was so pissed, because I felt like, again, they were pissing on me and telling me it was rain, talking about he only been hurt for 7 days or whatever they tried to say.
Well, that's what he said, allegedly.
Yeah, that's a lie. Because if that's the case, then I'm really, really angry. Because I don't know what gives you the right to feel as though that you just going to come over here and not practice the whole summer and then give the rock up. And then I don't even know why Frank Reich and Deuce putting the nigga back on the field the next drive based on the way Chuba was toting it.
Yeah. And, I mean, and I was telling JJ this too. He had a fumbling problem in Philly. If you go and pay attention to what he did his first couple of years in Philly, that was the knock on Miles Sanders. He could run the ball, but, I mean, he had a fumbling problem. All the way up until really last year, he didn't fumble until I think the Super Bowl, and it went out of bounds. He might have fumbled in a playoff game or something like that, but that's been the knock on him his whole career. I mean, the guy has a fumbling problem. And so it makes me look a little deeper into it is I don't really know why if our rushing attack is what is carrying the team and what carried us in that game, even though we didn't win, but you can see that that's the most dominant part of the offense, then why we necessarily go away from Deontay Foreman to bring in a guy who was going to fumble the ball or who was uncertain in that category. So that makes me question that too. Save money and keep Deontay Foreman. I mean, at least I know he's not going to give it up. And Chuba kind of has the same production he left off with last season, which I thought he played really well. And so it's a lot of question marks that for a lot of things and for a lot of different reasons. But it gives you cause for pause when you go and look at the things that happened throughout the game. Because when we first stepped onto the field, I mean, we were marching. Like, it wasn't really – it was times where it's like, I mean, I don't really see them stopping us because we were moving the ball so well. And then shit just came crashing down.
Well, I mean, we can start right there if you want. I have my notes here. Like you said, we had a phenomenal start. The defense gets a 3-and-out. BB, damn near unstoppable. First sack of the year on the first drive. Offense had great pace, great execution. And then we get in the red zone, and I damn near had PTSD, and I thought Matt Rule was on the sideline. Because on 3rd and 2, out of the pistol, you start the play 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, maybe 3 or 4, with your quarterback, and then you run a halfback dive who's 1.5 yards, 2 yards behind your quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's what you go with on 3rd and 2, and then you run the same as that play on 4th and 1.
And he doesn't get it.
And a lot of people, not to cut you off, my apologies, but I've been hearing, I've been seeing a lot of people acting like that was such a terrible, terrible play call, or such a terrible decision.
I don't think it was.
It wasn't a terrible decision at all. It was just a shit play call.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and make a statement. But this is why I say, like, it makes me real frustrated with this fan base because a lot of y'all don't know football. A lot of y'all just simply don't know football, and it pisses me off. Like, it really pisses me off. Yeah. You got it was 4th and inches. Like, when I went back and watched the game yesterday, it was even closer than we thought it was up there.
Yeah.
It was even closer. So, really, it was 4th and inches. Like, yeah, we going for that. Because I just don't think that you can stop us. Now, running a halfback dive out of the pistol, that's really what triggered me.
Yeah.
About the whole situation.
I just damn near wanted dead that formation, though. I didn't really see a lot of good things to come out of the pistol. And that seems like that was our primary formation, what we lined up with. But I didn't really see nothing good to come out of it. And that just goes to attest to that. I would just like for us to – you don't have to dead the whole formation, but don't base the offense out of that formation. Because that shit looked real nasty Sunday, I'll be honest.
Yep. I mean, I would need to go back. I would need to go back and look at it again because that's not what, like when I'm watching film, that's not really what I was watching too much of. I rewatched the game, and that's where more so I'm watching the game like a fan, just watching the game. Okay, cool. Then I go all 22, and then that's when I'm locked in on individuals. So I would have to go back and look at it as far as the primary formation. I know for a fact the first 2 or 3 drives that was the primary formation that we went with.
Yeah,
for a fact. Like I said, I'm not mad at a lot of people very vocal about that decision, and hindsight is always 2020. I'm not mad at it. That was the right decision to me. Your defense gets off the field 3 and out. We got momentum. It's quiet in Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
It's quiet in that hole. And I'm up there mobbing. Because, to me, I just feel like, oh, yeah, we about to dog these niggas out.
That's what it felt like. It felt like that in a lot of points of the game, but, I mean, it was just a lot of stalling out, turnovers. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Something has to change going into week 2.
It does. I mean, so that was a big moment. That shifted the momentum for sure. They get the ball back. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, defense got off the field again.
Yeah.
I believe that is when they punt the football, and then that's when Bryce Young's first interception comes. And again, that was one of those situations where you have to. And I know that I was emotional when we first started, and really I'm still emotional. I'm still in my feelings right now as we speak. That is the reason why he threw that pick was a rookie mistake.
Yeah, and that's what we said during the game.
Correct.
Because I think, and I was telling JJ this during the game, like that is a college ball that would have been completed, but NFL players are in a totally different category, especially when you got a veteran guy like Jesse Bates. They're in a totally different category. They're crashing on the ball way harder, way faster. They have the ability to read the quarterback's eyes a lot better, and which I think that was a situation to where Bryce was zoned in on, this is where I'm going before the snap even happens. And when you stare down a receiver in the NFL, a lot of times that's going to get picked off. And so Jesse Bates just really jumped the route because it looked open for a second. Because who was he throwing it? Was he throwing it to Mingo or Terrace Marshall?
I think it was Mingo. I'm not sure.
So if you look at it, I mean, Mingo, he has the guy beat. Like, if you put the ball in the right place, he can easily catch that. But when you have a safety like Jesse Bates, he's just reading that, and he just jumps the route. And so I chalked the first one up to, a rookie mistake, just a play you can't have. And I might be jumping the gun a little bit. But then he comes back and throws it the same way the next interception he had.
Yep. And that's what pissed me off.
Yeah. Because it was really the same exact play it looked like. And Frank Wright took the blame for whatever reason.
The first one.
Oh, he took the first one?
I think he took the first one, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Okay. And so he took the blame, but I just think as a quarterback in this league, like that's things you can't have. Like, going back to the same play, the same exact thing, and then the safety jumps the route again. But that's why I feel like, that comes with Tom. Like, I don't think that he's going to continue to make that mistake. I mean, he can't. And so I feel like that'll get better with Tom. But that's what happened there. Like, I don't really understand why he would go to the same place and throw another pick the same exact way. But from what he was saying, he said that he's seen the coverage. He just didn't realize the depth of the safety. And so I guess he just threw it there. I don't know if it looked like you was about to say something, Tavy.
I mean, I was just going to say, unfortunately, that just seems to be a play that is, like, very prominent in the playbook because it was a play they ran a lot during training camp, too. It's the same fucking route, same ball placement, it's same everything. Like, they love that play.
Well,
Bryce got very accustomed to just staring down that receiver. He was doing it at camp, too.
Yes.
But
he
weren't jumping it.
And to go, along with that point, it's a very good point. That's what happens when you have receivers that can't win routes. And I want to circle back at something that I kind of hinted at earlier. I've been seeing a lot of people acting like DJ Chark is our Lord and Savior. But if I could, just for a second, have just an honest conversation with everybody, and you tell me if I'm off. DJ Chark had 2 big plays in training camp that everybody wanted to gas up. What I want to highlight about those 2 plays is the fact that it was against second and third string niggas.
Keith Taylor, who's not even on the team anymore. I don't think. I think he's in Kansas City.
Exactly. So we talking about against niggas that can't even make a roster.
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, when JC was out there, hell, and even when CJ Henderson was out there, that won't going down like that.
Yeah.
So the honest conversation is we have a much, much bigger problem than DJ Chark can solve. Now, will he open up the field a little bit more? Yes, don't get me wrong. I predict that DJ Chark will win a good amount of routes, especially with the Saints and the way they approach defense. They run a lot of man coverage. They send a lot of pressure. So do I believe he'll be able to win more routes than we saw one on Sunday? Yes.
Not on Monday, he won't.
Or, excuse me, on Monday. My apologies.
Not on Monday, he won't. I hate to tell you.
I don't know why. I don't know why you hate to tell me. I watched film on them niggas, too. They ain't show me shit.
You seen Marshawn Lattimore's coverage stats?
They ain't show me shit. I mean, yeah, okay, cool. So if Marshawn Lattimore takes DJ Chark, that might be the best thing that'll happen for us all season.
Then that means the other receivers just have to win.
They gotta win. Yeah, I mean, if that's what the case is gonna be, then that's gonna be the best thing that happens to this team the whole season.
And what have y'all seen that shows y'all that they can win routes?
I mean, I haven't seen nothing, honestly.
Exactly.
But it's just as an NFL player, like that's why you are a wide receiver. Like, that's what you get paid to do. So, I mean, at some point, like, you have to show me why you're on the team. You have to show me why we're paying you that kind of money to do what. I mean, so at a certain point, you got to take that next step. So I just have to trust that that's something that they have to deal with internally in the locker room, as a coaching staff, as a wide receiver core. Like, something there has to change, and it has to be better. If my best corner is taking my quote-unquote best receiver, then I need my wide receiver 2 and 3 to be able to beat their corner 2 and 3. Like, it just has to happen if we're going to win any kind of games this year. Unless we're going to go back to we're just going to ground and pound for the rest of the season.
Which might not be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, which might not be terrible because, I mean, if you look at it, we had 154 rushing yards the other day.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really many negative running plays that I can recall.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head. Like honestly.
Other than the, 4th and inches and
right.
the one that you ran before that, which it wasn't a negative play. He did get a couple yards.
He got a yard. Yeah, I was about to say, because it was 3rd and 2, and then we went 4th and inches.
Yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't a lot of negative running plays. And, I mean, if we have to go back to what we did, like you said, wouldn't be a terrible idea. And then, when the defense is biting on the run, then that's when Bryce has to be a better quarterback and hit open receivers down the field. So,
and run that play action.
Yeah.
But at that point, that becomes coaching.
Yeah.
You got to be able to realize that's where he's very, very successful. Look at that shit.
Yeah, that's just
just pathetic.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, too, I'm about sick and tired of seeing Shaq Thompson with that damn shoulder tackle shit. It's year 10, year 11, whatever it is for this nigga. At some point, you got to realize that shit just don't work. You just don't got it, pimp. Because then when you do wrap up, you about stretch something. Who was that he caught in the second half?
I wanted them to show that play because that's one of the plays that I don't know if that set them up for a touchdown when that happened, where we broke through the line. Shaq Thompson, I think he was the first one through, popped him. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he stretched. No. He bounces off of him, and then he takes off for extra.
It wasn't as bad as you thought.
Play.
It wasn't. Matter of fact, it wasn't even as bad as you thought. It wasn't what you thought. He ran into his own lineman. Ain't nobody touch him.
I mean, that damn near makes it even worse because I felt like I seen us I mean,
I thought so too.
Mobbing back that hole.
Yeah, it was from the angle that we were sitting at. Because I went back and rewatched it. There it go right there. He ran into his own lineman.
So who the fuck is that just got mauled down like that?
Look. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Just pathetic. Just sad. Look at this.
Oh, my God.
Told you, change it. Look. Algier came in, and we act like we just didn't want to hit that nigga. Look at Dante. Look. Look. That's another thing that we got to do. We got to make our decision. When we got a quarterback scrambling out and we in man or we in zone, whatever, and you got a responsibility of a receiver and the quarterback, go ahead and make your decision. Either you going to go stretch the quarterback or you going to stay on your man. But this indecision, staying in the middle and trying to tap your feet and shit like that, that's not going to work. I saw Frankie do it. I saw Shaq do it. It's not going to work. Come down and stretch something.
Go ahead and commit.
It'll
be a lot better than you just getting caught in open field, not knowing what to do, and then that just throws you out of position for the whole play. Because when I had to see Derrick Brown down the field making a tackle in the damn near secondary, then, that is embarrassing. Because what is this nigga, 300 plus?
Yep.
Playing interior D-line, and he's in the secondary making the tackle to the left side of the field? What is that?
It seems like the speed at which they were playing defense on Sunday didn't really correlate with the speed statistics that JJ was reading off at the end of last season. Talking about the Panthers being one of the fastest units in football. Panthers defense.
That's documented, though.
Right. Yeah, and they weren't, but they weren't playing at that speed.
I won't say that. We were. We played, in my opinion, we played very fast.
You're not playing at that speed if you're being indecisive. You can't play at that speed if you're being indecisive.
That's a fair point. What else? Let me see. What another moment? This is just being undisciplined. This is another reason why we lost the football game. So it's the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 25, and we allow Bijan Robinson to gain 20 yards on the screenplay. We still forced a punt, but this is the point where somebody, and I need an explanation too, from the NFL, from the league, from somebody, because everybody wanted to sweep this under the rug, and because it wasn't one of them huge moments in the game where, it wasn't a change of possession or anything like that. Nobody wanted to talk about it. I need an explanation on what happened on the holding penalty. They called a holding on us. Then we get the football. We get the punt. Amir Marset gets the punt, and he gets horse collar on the half-yard line, and somehow
it offsets.
They offset, and there's no repunt. There's no nothing. Now, I watched the main broadcast yesterday, and Dean Blandino tried to tell me that because it was 2 switches of possessions, that they just offset that way and nothing happens. But I've never in my life seen an instance where a personal foul is equated to a holding.
Yeah, and I guess
with no repunt.
Frank Wright said he didn't really understand it either. But that's the explanation that he got, and what the ref said, it's an odd situation. You don't really never see, because I don't even remember, where we were sitting at in the stands, I remember them calling the horse collar. I remember them calling the holding. But like you said, I don't understand, because one is a 15-yard penalty and one is a 10-yard penalty?
Yeah.
So I don't really understand how it offset, and I didn't really hear the ref give that explanation over the mic as they do every other call.
He didn't.
And so because that's what I was
believe confused. He didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But I need an explanation from the league office.
Yeah.
Because
that's what put us on the goal line.
Yeah, that
backed us up.
Exactly.
That's when we went 3 and out right there.
But you're not even in that position if you just come down and stretch. I don't know why we're in prevent defense on 3rd and 25. Go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Go get the quarterback. Because, in my opinion, you're not getting burnt on 3rd and 25. Desmond Ridder didn't want to throw the football down the field.
At all.
Hate to tell y'all. He did it one time, and guess the reason why. Because he seen number 23 over there. As soon as he seen number 23 over there, his dick probably got hard. Like, yeah, we got one. We got one. And I'm so sick and tired of this nigga C.J. Henderson. Like, honestly, already. It's week 1, and I'm already fed up. The last possession that was meaningful for the Atlanta Falcons, the possession that I'm referring to, that he got dunked on. Actually, let me rewind, not get ahead of myself. Evero, we never need to go prevent that far deep again and allow Bijan Robinson, allow anybody to gain 20 yards. Because you have a shot to win the football game if you're disciplined and you make tackles on initial contact and don't have to go prevent defense.
Yeah. And
3rd and 25, you got to get 3rd and 25, we got a job to do. Get off the field. I don't want to go prevent defense. It's cute that you got off, but you gave up 20 yards, giving them the option to flip the field the way they did. And then Marset want to return punch. Hey, bro, we don't know you like that, nigga. We don't know you like that, nigga. I ain't gonna lie to you. Fair catch the bitch and get a ball to Bryce. All that dancing, running back and forth, running backwards, trying to catch an edge and shit, that's not why we brought you here. That's not why we brought you here, nigga. We brought you here to simply return, to simply catch the fucking punch. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean to go a step back, I guess, or no, on that possession where we went 3 and out, not to shoot him any bail, but Bryce missed Mingo wide open. He had a couple steps on the defender, and he just overthrew him. And
he had 2 bad misses in the 4th quarter.
And that might have been a touchdown pass.
He had 2 very, very bad misses in the 4th quarter. One to TMJ against AJ Terrell, and then the other one that you're referring to Jonathan Mingo. And I believe that was on the goal line, if I'm not mistaken.
When we were backed up on the goal line?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the same play that he missed Mingo? Because you were saying that it was a guy open underneath, so.
And that was no. There was 2 separate occasions. And but that was the same drive, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same drive.
So, yeah, and in reality, you just have to make those plays. But another thing I hate from the fan base, like I really do, let me say this with all due respect. I really do hate some of y'all niggas. I'm not going to lie. I really do hate y'all, bro. When y'all speak on shit that, obviously we all can have an opinion. That's the reason that we do this. We don't know every single thing to the T. But, I mean, if you watch the game and study the game, just certain stuff shouldn't come out your mouth. And I'm seeing, we need to start Andy Dalton for the rest of the season. All of this other different type of just really dumb shit that doesn't even make sense. Like, I mean, it's Bryce's first game. Like, I'm not shooting him any bail. I called out his mistakes, what he did wrong, what he has to get better at. But to automatically deflect to we need to start Andy Dalton, that just goes against everything that we've done in the past 2 years. Because why even go get Bryce Young if you just want to give up after one game and start Andy Dalton? Like, it's not even making sense. Like, y'all just got to be logic about certain situations and stop letting your emotions translate to dumb shit coming out of your mouth. Like, that's what we deal with in this fan base, and honestly, it's quite annoying. Like, that's why I stopped even arguing with a lot of y'all, because it's evident you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm just wasting my breath. But that's kind of what it was, and that really pissed me off, just seeing that throughout the whole Facebook post and all that other shit. Because when you go look at it, I mean, those rookie quarterbacks played better than Bryce. None of them won the fucking game. In reality, how many of them start? Anthony Richardson, Bryce, C.J. Stroud, 0 for 3. Translated to no W's. So that just all goes in to say, I mean, relax. Relax. It's his first game. If he gets to mid-season and he's still looking like this, then we have to have a conversation. But it's his first game. Relax.
I want to document that throughout the duration of this season, I will be extremely tough on Bryce Young. There will be no point in the season where I tell y'all that Bryce Young should not be the starter. There will be no point in this season that I tell y'all Bryce Young shouldn't be the starter. I think that's very unintelligent to go along with Terrence's point. I think it's absolutely preposterous and asinine to even make such a suggestion when you have a 21-year-old quarterback. How old is the nigga? 21, 22?
Something like that. Barely able to
Can
buy
barely
alcohol.
have a drink. I think it's absolutely preposterous to even suggest such a thing. And it makes you sound very, very unintelligent.
Which a lot of them are.
So, be serious, honestly. Be serious. And I'm not even up here to cape for Bryce. Because really, I was really, really ready to come to kick his fucking back in. Just because I had a shit day. As a whole. Really. And then I watched, like I said, I watched the All-22 today. I watched the game again yesterday. I really was coming up here to kick his back in. But then I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to take it out on the young nigga. Because it was his first game. He know he got to get better, though. I will say that. Because I want to draw y'all's attention back to 4 weeks ago. At the start of the preseason when Tavian and Terrence came up here acting like the end of the fucking world was here. Because of the offensive line play. Y'all did too. And I told everybody to calm the fuck down because it was unrealistic to think that was going to be the same production that we got in the regular season. He got to play better. I will say that. Because this ain't, Terrence going to kick for that nigga more than I do. And he going to defend that nigga more than I do. Because y'all crown that nigga. Not just the fan base, the organization too. Because they crowned him before he even took a snap in the summer. They gave him the starting job. So, okay, cool. If that's going to be the case, show me. Show me. So, I say that to say, you can't really get but so mad when a motherfucker say that.
No, you can't.
You can't. You can't.
That says
they
that
crowned him. Y'all crowned him.
That says that he doesn't deserve to start.
He's not ready to start. Not to say he doesn't deserve to start. You can't be mad at somebody for having the opinion that he ain't ready to start.
To me,
after what you seen on Sunday, hell, after what you seen the whole preseason.
To me,
what the fuck has he done?
To me, that still doesn't make sense. I think that he's more ready to start than the other quarterbacks we had on the roster, and I can make that. I can say that based off what I seen in training camp. Because Bryce was better than Andy Dalton. It was a few plays that Andy Dalton looked better, but overall, coming out of the training camp, Bryce was better than Andy Dalton. So if that's the sample size that we have to go off of, then I can say that. I want the best quarterback on the field, and based off of what I seen in training camp, if that's who the best quarterback is, then that's just the reality of the situation. If Andy Dalton would have went out there and absolutely shitted on Bryce in training camp, then put the best quarterback on the field. And like we said, nobody comes before the team. So if that's the case, then that's the case. But if Bryce is the better quarterback, then he should be on the field. But that comes from people who are not as invested in this football team as we are, who doesn't watch enough of this football team like we do. They watch a game, and that's that. Half of the people that's commenting on that, I guarantee you, they wasn't at training camp. They wasn't going to break down the training camp film. So all of that, they're just speaking off emotion, as I said earlier.
To be honest, I really don't think you have much to worry about with Bryce, being that he was a rookie and it was his first game. Overall, this is going to sound kind of crazy because he did throw 2 interceptions. I don't think his processing was bad. Like, I think you could clearly see him going through and progressing through his reads, and I think he was seeing the field well. He did have those 2 interceptions where he didn't understand the depth of the safety, as he said. But overall, I think he processed pretty fine. Like, I think he processed fine at an NFL level, and I think y'all got a starting quarterback for some years to come.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that statement. But it's very frustrating when you have an opportunity to win the football game and you miss 2 big plays. So that's why, I mean, like I said, I think it's extremely unintelligent to say that he shouldn't be starting as well as Terrence. However, I'm not going to get mad at somebody for saying that. I think you sound like a jackass, but if that's your opinion based on what you've seen on Sunday, I can't get but so mad.
So
Because he gave the shit up twice. The same as that route, the same as that play, to the same as that receiver, to the same as that defender. And then when the game was on the line, he failed to come up big in the moment.
Yeah.
So I can't get but so mad for somebody having that opinion. I agree with you as well. Do I think we have a starting quarterback? Yes. Do I need to see more? Absolutely. I need to see way more.
Yeah.
Because 20 or 38 for 143 yards and 2 interceptions with 1 touchdown ain't going to get it done. I hate to tell you. And if we just keep it in the stack, like I told you yesterday, or the day before, when you were trying to defend that nigga, do all that defending, if Baker Mayfield would have came out and did the same shit last year, y'all would have lynched the nigga. Y'all would have lynched him.
Yeah, but thing is, and like you also said, Baker Mayfield has been in the league how long? So if I got a quarterback that's been in the league that long, you had your rookie season. You had your sophomore season. When he get traded to us, his 3rd year? You damn right I'm going to lynch him.
I was like year 4 or 5, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's going to be a problem. And Baker Mayfield, he didn't look good to the second half of the first game of the season where he played with us. He didn't look good that first game until the second half. Other than that, he looked like bullshit. And what I would say to go along with that, on our scoring drive, Bryce went 6 for 6, touchdown pass. And also, what I would challenge people with, being that Bryce turned the ball over twice, in big moments he didn't come through, are we going to have the same, not comparing these 2 at all, 2 completely different skill levels? Are we going to say the same thing about Josh Allen? Absolutely. He gave that bitch up 4 times yesterday. All the turnovers were on him. Every last one of them, 3 picks, and then a fumble when the game was tight. Are we going to say, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. Bro, whoever you are. Should he be starting? Hell no. I'm going to roll out there with Josh Allen every time. You go give it up 4 times again next game. You know who's going to be my starting quarterback the game after? 17. So, I mean, I just think that it's just a bad take. It's just a bad take for people who say that. It's just a terrible take, I'll be honest.
I mean, it sounds like the people that are saying that are people who didn't want Bryce Young from the jump.
That's
really what it is.
Bingo.
I've seen a lot of that.
Bingo. Because you know what they prefaced it with? This is why I wanted C.J. Stroud. This is why I thought we should have went and got Anthony Richardson. Those same exact people. I mean, you can't win for shit with this fan base. You can't please them. I'm telling you, you cannot please them at all. So, I mean, I'm prepared to hear that for the rest of the year, honestly. Even though you're unintelligent and you probably shouldn't be talking football, I'm just prepared to hear that for the rest of the year. I mean, that's just what it is. Like,
let's go to some of the good things that we saw. It doesn't have to all be negative. It doesn't all have to be negative. Just wrapping up the bad. I mean, the bad is, again, we're not going to overreact. It's just frustrating. You wait the whole season, you wait the whole summer. What is it, from January all the way to fucking September, 8 months. You wait 8 months. And that was the product that you get to see. So it's frustrating. We had to do better with turnovers. Penalties really weren't a problem to me. Like, what do we have? I think we had 6. What do we have? 6 of them? 9 of them?
9 for 66 yards.
9 is borderline excessive. But, based on timing and based on the amount of yards that it cost us, 9 for 66, okay. I mean, I ain't tweaking. Because I ain't going to lie to you. If I would have been on that field, it would have been 9 for 81 when Desmond Ridder did that little tiptoe shit down the sideline. I would have stretched the bitch. I forget who it was that was right in front of him. I would have stretched him.
Yeah,
I ain't going to lie. I would have took the 15.
They definitely let him off the hook. I mean, we just got to be more aggressive as a team, man. And I think it hurts for me and JJ a little worse because we were at the game. We spent the whole weekend in Atlanta. And
oh God.
And we talked shit the whole time leading up into the game, at the game, after the game. Even talking shit after the game to know we're gonna have to come back on Tuesday and put this out.
Oh God.
So that's what makes it a little more frustrating.
Hold up. Falcons fans, don't get gassed up. I hate to tell y'all, but the product that I seen on Sunday, y'all bitches might win 6 games.
Yeah, y'all in the same boat as us for real.
And y'all had everything. Y'all had everybody but Jeff Okudah. Y'all had y'all full offense. Y'all had a quarterback that already had about 5 or 6 games under his belt. Y'all got y'all rookie running back that did all that dancing on his touchdown, all that extra shit. Falcons fans, don't get gassed up because you got to see us again week 17 or week 18, whenever it is. You got to come to the bank. So don't get gassed up. Like they were real chatty, but I ain't gonna lie, it was my fault.
Yeah,
I started it off, and then you got on, and I said, okay, well when Terrence get on, it's up.
Yeah, because we had a fan in front of us. I mean,
I wanted to smack the shit out of that
wanted to
motherfucker.
smack the shit out of him, bro. Because he just didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens when the quarterback can't see over the line. When Bryce proceeds to go 10-yard pass, like goes on a fucking scoring drive. But I'm like, okay, cool. That's the quarterback that can't see over the line. Cool. It wasn't no rollout plays that he was throwing the ball on. Standing in the pocket, dotting it on that touchdown drive. So, I mean, when people say stuff like that, it just really gets to me. It really just pisses me off. So, I mean, like I said, man, as an overall team, we just have to be better. But I feel a little bit better. It's week 1. Okay, get that shit out of the way. Week 2, I need to see a completely different football team.
As far as the good for me, and I would love to hear your take on this too, but I'm sure that we'll have, a couple of the same things, if not all. Some of the good, the fact that we were able to control the game the way we did, in my opinion, was a good. It was a positive. Like I mentioned, I mean, we dominated the time of possession battle. The execution on third down was way, way, way further along than in years past. At this point, and even further on in the season in years past, I might add, the execution on third down to me was excellent. Obviously, there's always going to be room to improve. However, that was something that was phenomenal. Being able to see our team extend drives that way, love to see that. The performance from Brian Burns and Derek Brown, I mean, Jesus Christ. It would have been in everybody's best interest if Brian Burns got paid his money last week. I'll just say that for the record. It would have been in everybody's best interest that we have to face this season if he would have got paid last week. Because now I damn near feel like he feeling like, okay, cool, y'all play me out. I'm not coming back here unless y'all give me 31 now. And because y'all didn't want to pay me, now I got to go prove myself again. Oh, and not only am I going to go prove myself again, I'm in the best situation that I've ever been in my career because now I can actually play my true position, my position by nature, and stand up And now I feel like I got a point to prove. Cool. So Brian Burns and Derek Brown, really what we did up front as a whole was really solid to me. Obviously, some of the second level stuff, like we just got to do better with tackling.
Yeah.
We have to do better with tackling and wrapping up, but it wasn't all terrible. It wasn't all terrible. I was very pessimistic coming out of the stadium just because, like I said, it was just in the moment. And obviously you see your team put up 10 points. It's not going to feel good. 10-24 is not going to feel good, you know. And then the way they scored their 2 touchdowns or 2 of their 3 touchdowns, rather. How many times they scored? 2? No, 3. They scored 3 because Bijan had 1 and Algier had 2. Cool.
Yep.
So the way they scored 2 of their 3 touchdowns with the halfback toss, you know, and we felt like before I watched film, I was under the same impression as you that we just didn't wrap up. And then the way Frankie got dead, y'all know Frankie is my dog, the way he got dead on that Bijan touchdown. So obviously coming out of the stadium, it was very, very pessimistic. After you watch film and you look at the stat sheet, it's just like, okay, cool. Well, what I know is at the end of the day, if we play that game 9 out of 10 times, we win that, we play that game 10 times, we win 9 out of 10. Simply based on the fact that we controlled every aspect of the game. Defense got off the field on 3rd down 8 times out of 10. You know, it's just not, there's just not really many situations that you lose that football game. I believe the one and only time you lose that football game is when you turn the football over 3 times. Because you could have turned, no cap, you could have turned the bitch over twice and you still probably would have won. So, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not all terrible. It's not all bad. Just very frustrating. It's a bad way to start the season off. It's a bad loss. 0-1 in the division, 0-1 in the conference, 0-1 overall. It's just, it's tough. However, it is week 1. So that's my stance, and that's where I kind of stand from a good standpoint.
The things that I seen good was the D-line as well. I think they came out, played physical. They got in the backfield. They disrupted the run to start with. Brian Burns came in, strip sack on first possession? Something like that. The rushing attack looked good other than the Miles Sanders fumble. But I think overall that looked good. And I don't necessarily think the secondary looked terrible. I mean, they didn't. If you go look at Desmond Ridder passing yards, they didn't really have too much. Drake London, I don't even think he had a yard. I could be mistaken.
He didn't even have a catch.
Yeah, so I mean, things from a defensive standpoint didn't look bad, but like you said, we just have to do a better job of tackling. We have to do a better job of committing when we have our assignment and things of that sort. Other than that, I mean, that's really the only good that I saw, in my opinion. I could be missing something. I didn't really see that much good. Eddie Panera made his kick.
Let's see. All right, let's have this conversation. And me and you haven't talked about this shit, but I almost feel like I know how you feel about it. But I know how I feel about it. I'm done and I'm fed up with Jaycee Horn. I hate to be that guy. You know, of course you feel bad for the nigga. 3 out of 3 years, he suffers an injury that's going to cost him multiple weeks. If you don't know, he did get hurt in the first quarter, I believe.
Yep.
Got hurt in the first quarter with a hamstring injury. Didn't return. Then it was announced yesterday by, actually it was announced today, if I'm not mistaken, that he would miss multiple weeks. Frank Reich made a comment on it Monday in his presser. Didn't really give many details. Excuse me. That shit fucked me up for a second, didn't it? Didn't give many details. Then again, it came out today on Tuesday that he would miss multiple weeks. I hate to tell y'all, And like I said, I'm not sure where you sit on this side of the fence, but I'm just fed up, because he's a phenomenal talent. I think me and Terrence both have gone on record on multiple occasions and told y'all that when the kid is healthy and it's a full go, he's probably the best cornerback in the NFL. And I know a lot of people they want to gas up Sauce because it's a lot sexier. A lot of people want to draw the comparison to JC and Patrick Surtain because they came out in the same year. Marshawn Lattimore, especially after the week he had this week. But really, when Jaycee Horn is locked in, and just because we have a Cowboys fan in the building, I'll throw Trayvon in there as well. Even though I think he can't cover worth the fuck. That's just me personally. But he does force a lot of turnovers, so the shit is cute. So you can make,
Forced two this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's what I'm talking about. But if we watch that all 22, I can about guarantee you that I can show you multiple times his ass was cooked where he got saved by his front seven.
You couldn't. He didn't have time to get cooked. Daniel Jones only had like 1.4 seconds to throw the football. They clocked it. You can watch the film.
We'll turn the all 22 on after we're done, and we'll see. All of that being said, you can say what you want to say, but if you turn on that film, the film will tell you that Jaycee Horn, when healthy, is the best cornerback in football. That being said, we got to get him gone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not willing to say best. I'll say top 5. But I mean, I made this comment a few weeks ago, probably sometime last year, honestly, that I'd rather have someone that's going to be available. Like, I mean, you can be great from a talent standpoint, but I mean, if you can't stay on the field, then really what's the point? And he's had a history of just not being able to stay on the field. Like, he can't stay healthy. And so I feel like at this point is more bad than it is good. And so that's when the front office has to have an honest conversation. Exploring all options. What does it look like for us to get rid of this guy, get rid of the training staff, get rid of something? Something has to be done.
Because, can't even blame it on the training staff no more.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like. I'm not going to say that completely just because we've seen Dante Jackson not be able to stay healthy either. And so just your secondary in general can't stay healthy, I have to boil it down to something deeper, in which I don't really know what it is, but everybody who has a hand in it has to play a part. So my thing is like we have to explore all options. What will we be able to get for this guy? What does it look like? I don't know. We have to go in a different direction at some point. And I love JC. I think he's a hell of a player, but like I said, I just need you to be on the field. I need you to be healthy, because one thing I can guarantee, Dante Jackson won't last the whole season. And we're just not going to be the football team that we should be when we only have one of those cornerbacks week in and week out. Like, for us to be a dominant team, a dominant defense, for us to really make some noise, then we have to have Dante Jackson and Jaycee Horn on the field at the same time. But it's like we can never get a full game with those two on the field. So, I mean, at some point we have to look in another direction. But I can also understand if they're not ready to bite that bullet yet and to move on. Like, I can understand that as well, just based off of his talent alone. But, yeah, something has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at some point you got to bite the bullet. And really, I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, really, I mean, if you're a football fan in general, you have to feel bad for him to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting here telling y'all that I don't empathize with the nigga. Like, I really, really genuinely feel bad for him. Like, I honestly really do. But, like, unfortunately, the NFL is a business. You know, I seen Dave from PNP put something up on Twitter today, saying that he still had his 4th year, his rookie contract, and then the option, we will probably assume the option for his 5th year. So it's still a lot of good football left, and just to comment directly to that, it's like, yeah, ideally, that would be the way you would want to think about it. But I don't see what's going to change, the next 2 seasons in comparison to his first 3. At some point, what you told me the other day, you said my mama and daddy always told me that if a motherfucker show you who they are, I forgot how you said it, but it was different than the way I had heard it in previous times.
But that's basically what it is. When somebody show you who you are, then you best believe it, because that's exactly who they are, and that's exactly what it is. And I mean, it's very relevant in this case. He showed us that he can't stay healthy, that he's gonna have some kind of injury throughout the season. His rookie year, what did he do? Break his ankle like first game, second game, third game.
Houston.
Next year came back, played through the whole thing until the Tampa Bay or Detroit week
when it mattered.
Yep, broke his arm, hand, wrist, and then now he's out with a hamstring injury. And if you know, those injuries can be lingering. So it's not even like them saying that he might miss several weeks. And I guess that's why they put several on there, because you never really know with that kind of injury.
Yeah.
Everything. Go ahead.
Go.
Everything that he does, like from a position standpoint, a healthy hamstring plays a big role into that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was about to say. Even when he does come back, hamstring ain't nothing to really play with.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, so even when he does come back, we don't know what version of this guy that we're going to get. It's very disappointing, bro. Like, honestly. Like, that's all I've been waiting for the whole summer, really, was to see this defense play together as a whole, because, the whole summer you were missing a very, very big part. Preseason, you were missing Brian Burns. Training camp, you were missing Dante. So you were missing a very, very big part both in both instances. And this was our first chance at getting to see this defense as a whole together. And unfortunately, it was very, very short-lived. Didn't even last a whole quarter. So now, you have to start looking at what you have on your roster. We made a couple moves. We went and got Lamar Jackson today. Random ass nigga. Who's not even, he's not starting material. I can go ahead and tell you that. CJ Henderson, as soon as he gets on the field, they let him off the hook for a while, just because I think that the Atlanta Falcons just simply don't trust Desmond Ridder. But then when the game got close and they needed a knockout blow, first play, 10, 11-yard out route to Mac Hollins. The very next play, let's go bomb this nigga because he's not good. Turns out they were right. And everybody, you can cry and you can holler about an OPI. You can do whatever you want to do. To me, it was a pass interference on defense and it was a pass interference on offense. When you have a case like that, you don't throw your flag and you let the players make a play. And Kyle Pitts dicked him.
Made him look like a child.
Kyle Pitts dicked him. Made him look like a baby.
And then you have Troy Hill.
Which I'm not mad, because I will say that was in my notes. Troy Hill, the play that he was on the field, he looked very good.
Yeah.
He looked very good. And to be honest, if I had to make the final call, that's who I would nominate. Let me see what Troy Hill is going to look like on the other side of Dante Jackson. Just based on, he only played 13 snaps. But the 13 snaps he played, he looked sharp.
Yeah.
He looked sharp. He looked good. He looked like he was ready. So we got to give him a shot. We signed, like I said, we signed Lamar Jackson. We signed, one or two other cornerbacks, I believe. But I will say there's a lot of veteran guys that are still free agents. A lot of veteran cornerbacks that are still free agents. So there has to be some phone calls being made, and I would predict that there were a lot of phone calls being made, if not a couple, on Sunday as soon as Scott Fitter and Dave Tepper saw Jaycee Horn go down for the third season in a row.
Yeah. This is completely unrelated. Did you notice Justin Houston was on the field?
That's a deeper conversation. I mean, you dive into it.
I mean, I didn't really, honestly, I forgot he was on the team.
He had no impact at all.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really see anything, and I don't know if that's why we went and made the move to sign Deion Jones back.
I believe it was.
To the practice squad. I mean, to the practice squad is not much, but I think a veteran guy like Deion Jones, even though he didn't do anything in the preseason, he has the opportunity to, take that step forward if we can't get any production out of Justin Houston, the guy that made the statement that him and Brian Burns will be two of the best edge rushers in the league, which I'm not mad at him saying that about Brian Burns, but when you go and say something like that, I need to see you do something.
Yeah.
And granted, he's an older guy. We get that. He's a veteran guy. He did have 9.5 sacks last year.
Yep.
So I don't really understand why I didn't see much of him doing anything. But I just wanted to ask, did you see him out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, he played 52% of the defensive snaps. He got 27 reps. I'm scrolling through the stat sheet right now. 2 tackles, 1 solo, and he did have a TFL. So maybe we just blazing. But I ain't gonna lie, that impact really won't felt to me.
Yeah.
That impact really won't felt to me. Shout out Unnecessary Bluntness. Shout out Dunk. We damn near shout him out every podcast now. But he had a great breakdown on what he felt the conversation it was as it surrounded Deion Jones. As far as bringing a guy like that, bringing a vet back like that, I think he said if you bring if he would have made the actual team and played week 1 or been on the roster on week 1, then he would have been guaranteed the vet minimum. With them bringing him back week 2, that isn't the case. That vet minimum is not guaranteed any longer. And so he was under the belief, or he, has the thoughts or has the theory that there was a conversation had between the Carolina Panthers and Deion Jones. They let him go and then bring him back after the first game. Which, if that's the case, I'm not mad at it. I will say I think that the lack of production from Justin Houston did contribute to this, because I believe they want to let Frankie run that outside backer position a bit more. Frankie looked sharp, like I said. I mean, he got embarrassed on that touchdown with Bijan, but Frankie was he was flying around. He was flying around. It was something that we didn't really talk about at the game or after the game, but he was flying around. He was trying to stretch something. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he had a sack.
He had a sack, and then he had a sack that he missed, unfortunately. So Frankie should have had 2 sacks on the day, but even on the play where he missed that sack, he still stretched, bro.
Yeah.
I was surprised he got up when I saw from a different angle what he did to the nigga. Honestly. Which in turn it led to an incompletion. But yeah, Justin Houston didn't show me nothing. Deion Jones, as Terrence mentioned, he was signed back to the practice squad. I believe he will be activated to that 53-man roster. If not this week, next week. I don't see why you don't do it this week, because you are playing on Monday. So, it's not like he has to get up to speed on anything. He was with us for the whole summer. Or 3-4 weeks out of the summer. So
he was at least in training camp. So
right, he was in training camp.
And preseason, play whole preseason. So
right. So it's not like it's a guy that has no idea what's going on or anything like that. I don't see why you don't activate him this week. I'll tell you who else I didn't see. I didn't see Cabo. And that was something that Dylan brought up in the group chat. And I was just like, Actually, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, didn't see any of him.
Didn't see any Kamu Gregor-Hill at all.
I don't know why, but I mean, when it boils down to it, defense didn't play terrible as a whole. So
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe that's why, but yeah, didn't see any of him either.
We only gave up 221 yards, bro. That's why, like I said, that's why the shit just hurts, because it's just like, I mean, they had no business winning that game, and we just gifted it to them, which is something that we've seen so often the past decade from the Carolina Panthers, legitimately. The past decade for the Carolina Panthers, with the Carolina Panthers, we've seen more gifts than gifts that we've received. We've given more gifts than gifts that we've received, honestly. So, just frustrating. Just very, very frustrating. Who was your player of the week this week?
I'm going Brian Burns. And I don't want everybody to think that I'm being biased, but I think for a guy to come out there of his caliber with no contract and still not half-ass it and go and get a sack first drive of the game and really just make his presence felt throughout the game, even though the second half we didn't see as much of Brian Burns.
That was intentional, though.
Yeah. And I mean, but what did he led the team, right?
He was 2 tackles off from leading the team.
Okay.
But he did, like you said, he had 7 tackles, sack and a half. And, you know, for all of the fans, and not to cut you off right here, but, you know, like you just said, we didn't see much of him in the second half. For all of the fans that had something to say and want to take the position that, you know, the second half he didn't do shit, second half, whatever, and you want to use that with a negative undertone, I highly recommend you to just simply go turn on Arthur Smith's post-game press conference, head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. And he tells you exactly why you didn't see a lot of Brian Burns. He tells you exactly. And I'm not even going to tell y'all what he said, and I'm not going to play it. I'm going to just put it in y'all's hands to do y'all's own research. But y'all might not want to do that because it won't fit into your narrative. But, you know, I totally understand why Brian Burns didn't do shit in the second half. And even then, he still was active. Like, it wasn't like he was just not playing.
Yeah.
Or like he just gave up on plays and shit like that. No, it was a schematical thing. It was intentional. So do your research on that. But you can wrap up if you want to.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, that was pretty much it. My player of the game goes to Brian Burns. Just think he had a huge impact being in the situation that he was in. And so at the end of the day, and wrapping that up, I mean, he needs to be paid quite quickly.
To be honest, I don't know why in the fuck he wasn't paid after the first drive.
Yeah, his contract should have been waiting on him to sign when he got back to the fucking sideline.
Like legitimately.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dave or Scott were in attendance, but they legitimately should have gone down, handed him the piece of paper to sign with no other changes except for the dollar amount that he wanted for him to sign it, for them to sign it, and for them to send the shit back to Charlotte after the first drive. My player of the week this week is going to be Derek Brown. 9 total tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 sack. Hell of a game from him.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Dominant performance from Derek Brown. Like you said, I mean, he was flying around all around the field. He making plays 15, 20 yards in the secondary, dominating the point of attack, dominating the line of scrimmage. Phenomenal game from Derek Brown. I'll be honest with you, I'm very excited to see what he looks like going forward because this really, really, really was different.
Yeah.
Like, this was really, when you look at it and you realize that he's really a natural defensive tackle that just so happens to be listed as a DN now, if this is what we're going to get from Derek Brown as a DN, quote unquote, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue if this is what we can expect from him and Brian Burns. and then you bring Deion Jones back in and you let Frankie go to that other side, the shit might be a show. Something I didn't like was the fact that YGM didn't get more reps than he got. I know you can't stand him, and I know you think it was probably beneficial.
Probably was.
But I just need to see. Let me make that decision for myself this season. Not based on shit that I've seen in the past.
Save him the embarrassment.
Let me see. We have anything else in that regard? We covered that. Jeremy Chin had a solid game. 7 tackles from him. Nothing else really. Other than that, we didn't force any turnovers in the team, so I won't knock him for that. He did play only 73% of the snaps, which I know that was something that, me and you discussed over the summer and actually during the spring as well on kind of what it would look like when he was on the field and what he would be doing. Again, he did only play 73% of the snaps. And just to add context, Xavier Woods played 81, Brian Burns played 96, Derek Brown played 96, Dante played 98, Von Bell played 100, Shaq played 100, and Frankie played 100. He was actually down there with Deshaun Williams and Shy Tuttle as far as percentage goes. Both of those guys played 65 and 63% of the snaps. Jaycee Horn only took 20 snaps, as we know, 38%. And Etor Gross Matos only had 4 snaps in totality. So, yeah, I didn't like that. But I know you don't care.
Not really.
I can't wait until we see them bitches.
You might want to.
We got to look a lot better than what we did this game. Yeah, he chatting.
On God. On God. On God. Crazy thing is, he did that, and that shit looked a lot different than what BB did, but BB had a better game than him.
Yeah.
And then we have headlines like what makes Micah Parsons the best linebacker in football. I mean, I love Micah. He probably one of my favorite players in the NFL. But can we have the same conversation about BB? Can we have the same conversation about BB or no? We can't.
We need to.
Okay, cool.
Based off what I seen.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Because you know how they do. Appreciate y'all tuning in. This episode will release again. We have our schedule. We're gonna maintain that. So you guys will get an episode on Friday regarding we're talking about the New Orleans Saints game and a quick preview there. We'll probably do 15 or 20 minutes, somewhere in that range for Friday. We're actually about to record that shit now, but I just don't want to give y'all all of that in the same what you call. It'll help the algorithm. It'll help us. So make sure you tune in on Friday. We'll go through a couple of things in regards to the Monday Night Football game against the New Orleans Saints. We will, again, be in attendance for that game. Excited to open the home schedule on primetime football. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to even out your record within the division. It's an opportunity to make yourself feel a bit better going forward. We know what the remaining 5 games of this stretch looks like before the bye week. I feel like this is probably one of the games that you should win. If not, you run the risk of going 0-6, 1-5. Ideally, I don't even want to think about that. But if you don't win on Monday night, that it feels like that's a very, very good possibility, I guess you could say. just based on the other team that we played and based on the team or what we saw from the other teams that we had to play in that first 6-game stretch. So huge game on Monday again. Make sure you tune in on Friday on YouTube as well as Spotify, all DSPs where you're able to listen and watch podcasts. On Friday, we will drop our game preview in regards to that. Do you feel a little bit better? I feel like this is a therapy session for me. I feel a lot better than when I walked in this house. I will say that.
I mean, I was trying to tell you that the whole time. So look at the positives. I mean, we got that shit out of the way week 1. I mean, obviously we can't have that same production in week 2 because it's a must-win game where no other team in the division loses. So you have to win.
You look a lot brighter, buddy. I'm happy for you.
Fuck you. Tune in Friday. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. Make sure you share it with a friend. Make sure you're subscribed. We will be doing a giveaway. I don't know. Me and Terrence haven't talked about it, but I'd like to do another giveaway probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. I think that would be time again. Maybe we'll do another free jersey giveaway of the winners choosing. I don't know. We got to come up with something creative. I like we do new shit all the time. I think we did some Chick-fil-A giveaway last year. We did autographed football this summer. We did the free jersey giveaway. So yeah, I know for a fact we want to do tickets at some point this season. And I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But just make sure you're tuned in. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow short form content all throughout the week on Instagram and TikTok. Long form, obviously, on YouTube. You guys will be getting clips as well. For the most part, it'll be Wednesday through Saturday in regards to that. So just make sure you're tuned in there. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Talk to y'all soon. Breaking news, Carolina Panthers just signed to Rick Cohen. Do you have the contract details?
I don't have any contract details yet. Let me see.
I mean, what is the reason for that? We don't have to. We'll talk about it right now when we do this preview. But I don't understand what the reason for that is.
I don't know, unless it's to return. Like,
they might not like Marset back there.
Yeah. So he got a tryout with us. It looks like today.
Yes, he did. I saw that.
Yeah, I don't see any contract information as of now.
Okay, cool.